Good evening, everyone, and welcome to World's Finest. I am your host, Lee, and I am here with the VP of the Comic Collectors Guild, LT. LT, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
How you doing, brother? I'm excited for today's show, tonight's topic. I mean, this has been how many years in the making, finally? We get something in.
Oh, for me,
Christ.
it's been 40 years in the making. For me, man, since day one, or since I saw the very first episode of the Super Friends, I was hoping for a live action. We got the challenge of the superheroes back in the 70s, and, and that's really all we had to live with for a while. And
For
then
a
we had
long
the TV pilot of the Justice League that came and went back in the 90s. Then we had the 2017 Justice League that we were all anxiously awaiting to see. And then, of course, we all know what happened with that. But now we have in 2021 the Justice League that we were promised when Man of Steel debuted years ago.
mm,
The Zack Snyder's Justice League has dropped, and it is just fantastic.
it
I
is
loved it.
phenomenal. It was the best 4 hours of my life. And in 4 hours, it feels like we could have had a lot more than 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as it is, I've already heard rumors that there was already some footage cut and not put into this. So I mean, we could have gone 5, 6 hours. It could have been a tiny mini series of sorts. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. We finally, after 4 years, get this version. Thank God. A way more complete version than what we saw in the Justice League version of 2017. So
I know, man. I know. I actually do remember when Zach stepped down. It was in the midst of all that turmoil and everything that was going on. Of course, with his daughter, of course, that terrible story. And then they put Joss in, and this was back June of 2017 or something, May of 2017. And I was like, oh, you know what? First of all, somebody who was a big Buffy fan and Serenity and Angel
Serenity.
and Dollhouse, all of that stuff. I've been a Joss fan forever. And then the Avengers movies, of course. I was like, oh, you know what? I can't. He's gonna kill it. You know what I mean? A little combo of Zach and him. It's gonna be awesome. And then it came out, and I wanted to love it when it came out. I think just because I had been, like I just joked about in the beginning, loved these characters for so long, and to be able to see them in live action, that's why I made myself love it. Now that this 4 hours is out, can't stand it.
No, no, I agree. I was in Dallas in 2017 visiting my daughter up in college, and that was her first year of college, and we had planned on going to theaters. I mean, we had seen movies together forever, and we had planned on this one. We went up there, and it was a special trip on top of seeing my daughter. We were going to see Justice League,
Mhm.
and like you said, I was so excited, but at the end, I was like, I had to force myself to like it
Yeah.
because coming off Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, this was almost too lighthearted, too just. There was just something not Zack Snyder about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I do. I do. And for all of the stuff that came out about how they had, and it was definitely lighter. This is definitely a lighter episode, is what I'm trying to say. A lighter uh, movie than the previous two, as you mentioned, right?
Right.
But it did so without the hokiness that Joss brought to it. It was definitely a lighter. There was not as many corny jokes and stuff like that, but it wasn't as dark as the previous two films.
Yeah.
And it did with all the hookiness, man. But no, I mean, it was fantastic, dude. I guess, I mean, why don't we just kind of jump into it and talk about right off the bat, man? Right off the bat, this lets you know that this is going to be a brand new movie, brand new opening
The
sequence.
beginning. I mean,
Yeah.
straight shot from Batman versus Superman. I mean, wow. I mean, it was such a different opening, such a different everything. It really set the tone of what you were going to see, through the whole 4 hours of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, right off the bat, it's a totally different movie. You see uh, like you said, the shots from Batman versus Superman, and right off of the bat, one of the big problems with Joss Whedon's is there wasn't a lot of sense. It was nonsensical. You know what I mean? It didn't make why things were happening. We're just like, huh? You just had to kind of take it for granted and be like,
Mhm.
okay, that's why. Okay, I guess I move on. But this is off the bat giving you an answer as to why the mother boxes were even calling out to begin with.
Right.
The movie opens up and gives you that answer because of Superman's scream right off the bat.
His,
Everyone hears
his
that. It
dying scream.
reverbs to the whole world. Yeah, and you see it hit the Themyscira, it hit
Atlantis.
Atlantis, and then you see it hit Cyborg's box or Cyborg in Cyborg's apartment.
Right.
You see the mother boxes in there starting to wake up. So it does all that because why? It's like it's learning to people. Earth
No,
is vulnerable.
yeah, no Kryptonians.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
the Steppenwolf said.
Yep.
So
No Kryptonians, man. So right off the bat, you're like, oh, that's why Steppenwolf came down. Yeah,
yeah,
so that was I thought that was really cool to see. That gives you the answer. And immediately they take away that the difference is from the other movie. It started off with Batman fighting the parademon, which again gave you no real answers as to how Batman even knew fear drew the parademons. You just
yeah.
had to be like, oh, okay, Batman knows these things, that's why. you know and so it's like I said, that scene's gone. Although I said when I first saw that movie, I was like, when he was fighting the parademons, I was like, oh, this is so cool to see Batman actually fighting an otherworldly creature as opposed to just stopping some other civilian and all
Some
that
bad
stuff.
guy. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, but again, watching it again, it's just so hokey and stuff and all of that. So I was glad it was gone, right off the bat. And also another big cool thing that you notice about this is the Flash. The
Oh,
Flash is a totally different character.
dude, they
We
like
talk a lot about,
reinvented him in this movie.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
awesome.
he's no longer the big klutz that he was. I mean, or the chicken, or the big coward. The other one just played off. He just had this cowardice about him. You know what I mean? And I don't know, how do I save people and all of this stuff? And I just usually push them and run and all
Yeah,
that.
he was
All
he
that is
was
gone.
always asking, so what's the plan? What's the plan?
Yeah.
He
Mhm.
said it several times until they finally say, oh, we finally have a plan,
Yeah.
and that whole introduction, we see him, and we finally see that Iris West added scene that had been teased a long
Yes.
time ago. I mean, it was, that she was in it, to finally see her, in action, to see the I forgot, I don't recall her name, the actress's name, but it was a long due for her to
Kiersey
come out.
Clemens. Kiersey
Yes,
Clemens. Yeah.
yes, and she's tapped to be in Flashpoint as well, correct? Is that what they
Yes,
said?
which they just actually answered that. This in the past 2 weeks, it finally came out because there was a lot of like, will she actually be? Because that movie was supposed to be made years ago.
Oh yeah,
Will she actually be Iris now? So it's kind of cool that the people who all have watched Justice League now will have some type of familiarity because they just
yes.
announced actually that Billy Crudup. I think I'm saying his
Oh yeah, the
name right.
father.
Is not going to be able to be the father, unfortunately. So he's going to have to be recast as Barry's father. No, but to your point, I love the way he's introduced here. Last time he was introduced in the film, it was just Bruce coming to see him, or he was at his dad's prison and he did some jokey thing with the speed and writing on the guy's face. This one we actually see, it's still again, they brought lightheartedness to this film, and it all does come from Barry, but without that craziness that they had before. You
Right.
know what I mean? So, but we introduced to Barry. He's got the resume and all of that stuff going on in there. How to get the job with the dogs, and it was just a great introduction. And I'm glad that we actually got to see him using his speed like he did and the meat cute. So,
Yeah.
really good stuff.
I mean, through the whole movie, his if you really want to cut it down to brass tacks, he saved everyone. He saved the world. I
Yeah,
mean, we'll talk about that further on, but he saved the world.
definitely did, man. He
And
definitely did.
that was a far cry from what we saw him as in the Justice League version. So
Yeah,
they did the Flash, some justice, and as well as Cyborg, and for
oh
a
my
long
gosh,
time
yep.
they had said Cyborg was the heart of the movie, but of course we never saw that in the 2017 version. He was just basically a side character. And this movie, you really truly see his, his angst, his anger, his and finally, what he had to do, and coming to full circle, realizing what his powers were a gift.
Yeah.
So that I love how they made Cyborg that focal point like that.
No, I agree. It was. I mean, I can understand why Ray Fisher was totally taken aback by the Joss Whedon version. I mean, he was totally removed from that film. You know, I mean, for all intents and purposes. I mean, obviously some other things went on behind the scenes there too, but I mean, he just was totally butchered beyond repair in that film. So it was great to see all of those scenes restored because it gives you way more backstory and understanding of who he was. In the last movie, it was just said, how'd you get like this? It was an explosion, and that was
Explosion.
all
Yeah.
it was said. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then they moved on in the first movie. This one, we learn the backstory. We see the relationship that he had with his mother, and we see what a football star that he was.
That was
So we
just
actually learn.
sad.
Yeah, we see more of what he lost, so we understand where all of this angst, as you said, comes from.
His anger towards
Obviously.
his father, everything. Yeah.
Learn all that backstory, because like you said, if his dad, his dad didn't show up to the football game, so him and his mom were talking about it, and if his dad had showed up, him and his mom wouldn't have been having that conversation. There'd been no car accident. You know what I mean? So it was just all of that, that backstory that was just so great to see with him, and also along with Cyborg's character, more Joe Morton, who played his father, who also brought a lot of heart to this film. And his, he was like maybe had one or two scenes in the first film, and his monologue to his son is what takes us out of the story. Out of Justice League is Joe Morton. Last movie it ended with Lois, I think, some type of monologue that she had, or what have you. This one was Joe Morton, talking to his son about how much he loves him and what a man, and all of this stuff. So it was just I could so much more. Just the scenes that they brought back in this movie just fleshed out so. It just made everything so much better. I mean, you know what I mean? There's interest in everything, and there's understanding, and it just flows. It's just, I mean, I can't get enough of it, man. I cannot get enough.
No, they really upped the side characters up, more so than the first one, like Joe Morton. We got some extra scenes with Martha, a lot more scenes with Lois. Of course, we got the new character Ryan Choi, who in DC canon is the Atom. They included him as more of an assistant, but again, we find out at the end there he's given the keys to Star Labs. If you
he was Joe Morton's assistant the whole time, and then you're at the end, and so it's like, oh.
And what's cool is that
it's the second Atom. I always recognize Ray Palmer first.
After Ray Palmer.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that you could have just gotten any character. No, he chose a Star Lab scientist and with a backstory, pre Atom. I like that. I mean, we got the side, even the Queen of Amazons, and the Amazons had a lot more, appearance in this movie too. It wasn't just like side characters. We didn't see as much as Atlanteans, but we did see Volko finally, originally not in the movie at all.
Yeah, exactly. And more of Mara too.
Wow, yeah. More Mara. I mean,
with
all
a
the way
little bit
to
of an accent, with a weird little accent.
That's what I was going to ask. She didn't have that accent. Where did that come from? And then where did it go in Aquaman?
Exactly. Yeah. In between that, there was a haircut by Volko and a accent change by
and Volko with like long, gray hair. I was like, that old man.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah. No, so yeah, we do spend so that made the movie better, obviously, with the beefing up of the secondary and the side stories and all of that, as opposed to just jumping from action scene to action scene, or just something to just be able to get the story point to point. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it just took the time to tell it. We also, talk about Themyscira and Atlantis. Actually, we spend more time there when he actually comes. Steppenwolf comes to get this boxes. I
Yeah.
mean, the scenes, dude. The scenes at Themyscira are way. I mean,
The
why would you
demo.
ever cut that out?
Yeah, the
You
demolition
know,
of that one building, into the sea. I mean, why would you have cut that out? That's just
it it,
pure
it goes to
destruction that
show
we should have
exactly.
seen. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes to show exactly what the queen did. She's thought she was taking that box out, and then all those Amazons were sacrificing themselves. That fell into the river when that whole temple fell into the water, and it was like that was all for nothing. That's how terrible it is because they like hundreds of Amazons or whatever sacrifice themselves for nothing because they come buzzing out of that thing, and it's just like body slamming horses. It's it was awesome. That's
Man.
what this R rating does to you as well. It gives you, when people get hit. There's, talk about the Themyscira scene.
They,
Let's talk about the Wonder Woman scene, the bank robbery, or when the terrorists
oh yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah. There
beginning.
was a
You
fair
know,
amount of blood. I was
dude,
like,
yeah,
I was like, wow, there's blood.
which is the same. Zach's always said these are gods. That's been the difference between the DC heroes and the Marvel heroes. So it's like, okay, when a god hits you, a regular human, you're not usually getting back up off of that. You know what I mean? So it was like there was blood and bones. Diana killed all those terrorists there in the very beginning. It wasn't like Wonder Woman
Yeah.
'84
At
where
the
she
end,
was
her
like throwing them in stuffed animals and stuff like that. She was killing them. This was a way better Diana. I missed this Diana in Wonder Woman '84.
oh no, definitely. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this was a good one. But no, we got to see the Themyscira. That scenes were awesome. There was more Atlantis fight scenes. Mara actually kind of got into the battle a little bit more when Steppenwolf came to get the box. So that was, I just never understood why you would ever want to cut that. We spent way more time in the flashback scene, which I think is really awesome.
Yep.
And the big huge difference here is it's not Steppenwolf who came back. It was Darkseid 5,000 years ago who came to Earth and got beat back by everybody combining forces.
Yeah, and it was a young Darkseid. It was he went by a different name, I believe, in the comics. You
Uxas.
Uxas, something. They didn't say that, directly in the movie. It was always Darkseid, but he was that young that he went by that name before Darkseid. So
Well, I think that they had that name written in the temple that they above his face.
did it? I don't recall.
I think maybe I'm wrong about that, but I thought they did.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, it was so that was, we got to see the Green Lantern. We got to see, just way more of the battle, which was
We
way
got
more
to see
incredible.
more of Zeus and what's nice Ares.
Ares, yeah,
We got to see them fight
yeah,
some more against dark side forces. Yeah, we got to see. We saw more of the Green Lantern fight. Rather than like in the first movie, he like died in a minute. We didn't even get to see. Like what? No.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. So we got, we got to see more of the Amazons and the Atlanteans and all of it. We spent way more time back there.
Yeah, it was a scene on par with what you would have seen on Lord of the Rings. You had the 3-4 armies coming together against the
Mhm.
one common evil, and that was awesome. And victory to us, to the good guys, if you will.
Yep.
No, and I like how they kept up and they went more into how they decided to separate the boxes between Atlanteans, Amazonians, the humans.
Yeah.
A lot more in depth than the original, 2017 version.
Oh yeah. Oh, most certainly. And we it's kind of funny. We've talked a lot about the guy already, but I mean that's a big, huge difference right there in the movie, right? We've talked a lot about Darkseid, but big huge difference is in this movie and the last one, there was no dark side in the last one
at
at
all.
all. We heard his name mentioned once, and or dark side.
Yeah.
I think
There,
Steppenwolf
no, there
said,
was no dark side. No, his lieutenants, Desaad, Granny Goodness on the side.
yeah,
There was nothing. It was all Steppenwolf in the original, and
yep,
even that was a different Steppenwolf from what we saw here in the new version, the Zack Snyder version. And
oh
and
yeah,
and they made him a lot, I guess, I don't know, meaner, a lot more meaner, a lot more focused. Although I've seen a lot of people already like commenting how they felt bad for Steppenwolf because all he wanted to do was get home. He just wanted to please get back into the good graces of Darkseid and go home. But yet there was Desaad kicking him down, and then so was Darkseid. And even he found the Unity. They were like, you found it? What?
That is so funny because he's not even he wasn't even he was not even the big bad, the second big bad. This guy reported to Desaad, who Desaad reported to Darkseid.
Yeah.
And then and for all you probably know this, and Steppenwolf's his uncle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Darkseid's uncle. So I mean,
Darkseid.
Darkseid's already going to be reporting to his. I mean, Steppenwolf's already going to be reporting to his nephew.
Yeah.
So he's already feeling a little inferior to begin with, I would imagine. Yeah. So no, but I mean, I thought this guy or Darkseid, it was just he brought a lot more gravitas to the film. You know what I mean? He really did. I mean, and the way they set him up throughout the movie. I mean, they just let you know he's a badass.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we didn't even see him do much, but you just know it. You know what I mean? Just by his presence alone, which I think is awesome direction to be able to do that for just a limited amount of time. You know what I mean? But that was just great. I can't. It really sucks because I really do wish there would be a sequel of some sort so we could see fully Darkseid doing what he was going to do.
According to reports, Zach already had a 2 and 3 ready to go, or as far as story wise and how the direction he wanted to. But supposedly Warner Brothers are being dicks about everything, and they don't want to continue the Snyderverse. I've posted a lot of stories on our Facebook page about Warner Brothers just not they're content with the direction they're going, a non Snyderverse universe, which is it's going to be weird because you have the Flash coming into, and we got Ben coming back for the hopefully if he still stays on,
Right.
so that's some kind of Snyderverse continuation, but not indirectly.
Yeah, he won't be guiding it.
No.
It'll just always be what he birthed. You know what I mean? All of these because he put the team together.
Yeah.
He put this Justice League team together that we see. Another huge reveal and difference in this film was Martian Manhunter.
Oh.
What do you think about that, man?
I love that they included him because he is one of the original members. I just wish he was just a little bit more. I love the first time we see him, he was disguised as Martha. Of course, we didn't know. And then we finally see him at the end. I loved how it concluded, I guess, with him. He coming to Bruce and telling him, there's a war coming, and I want to help. I just wish he had a little bit more. I love the fact they included him. I mean, it added an extra hero. I mean, what do you think? I mean, they could have used more, or that was enough to tease us with?
I think it was. Obviously, they could have used more. I mean, I'm never gonna say, hey, let's not give
Right.
screen time
Carried
to some
away.
other cool hero that could be in there, But so I loved seeing him. First of all, that was great. And to your point, he is one of the original 7 up until New 52 came out, and they revamped DC Universe or DC Universe. Martian Manhunter Martian Manhunter was one of the original Justice League, as you said, and then they replaced him since with Cyborg. Switched his character out. So it was good to see him included. What I do think took a little bit away. I don't like the way he was kind of introduced because I think it's a weird way for him to be introduced like that by him looking as, disguising himself as Martha and then going to see Lois and then giving her a pep talk or what have you. It wouldn't be too hard for them to figure it out. Let's say if there was no reveal and be like, "Hey, Martha, thanks for coming by the other day." And what are you talking about, Lois? I haven't been by
Wait,
there in 3 weeks.
right.
So I think that it was just it took. And all jokes aside, I just think that took a little bit of bonding that you thought was happening with Lois and Martha. You know what I mean? All that aside, though, yes, I thought it was great. I actually thought I was thinking that he might show up near the battle scene at the end, for a little quick punch or two
Yeah,
to help
yeah.
out. You feel like if you're going to help if you feel like it's time to step up and help the Earth, that was probably the time to do it. You know what I mean? Don't wait. I guess he was waiting to see what was going to happen. Maybe they might not make it. So I don't know if I want to join in or not. You know what I mean? I mean, that was fine time to come in and jump in the battle with Steppenwolf. But I did like the fact that he came and he was talking to Bruce at the end. The rumor was, it's not even a rumor, Zach has said it, that it was originally supposed to be John Stewart.
Yeah, I heard that. And that the Warner Brothers shot him down.
Yeah. Yeah, but John Jones is a great substitute. I thought it was awesome. I like the fact that it was Henry Lennox, or the actor Henry Lennox, playing General Stanwyck. Yeah, and we've seen him since The Man of Steel, and it was kind of cool to see, to know now. If you go back and look at Man of Steel, back when Superman and they're all in the interrogation room and they're looking at him, and then Stanwyck and all those guys are outside of the room looking in. There's a scene when Superman steps up, snaps his cuffs, and walks over to the window. Everyone else in the room that's looking backs away from the window. Stanwyck, which is now John Jones,
John
Martian
Jones.
Manhunter, stands right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of cool to see the seeds that were planted even back then in the Man of Steel. That's who this guy was. So, dude, I love seeing it. It was awesome.
No, I'm glad they included him. It was an added bonus to the already extra long movie, but it was well worth it.
Exactly. Yep. So let's get to the very end. We kind of talked about that a little bit here already, saying I wish Martian Manhunter had shown up. Spoiler alert, he didn't, as you guys know already. Well, what did you think about the fight? Did you like this one better?
This fight was a lot more planned and elaborate. I mean, there was a lot of the same parts that we saw in the first one, of course, because they were shot by Zack Snyder. But we do see a lot more, a lot more fighting. A lot, we saw Wonder Woman just like totally kick some ass. She was just going for blood, as well as Cyborg using, blowing stuff up, and and then the Flash, the whole, build up energy around the whole city type thing. I mean, that was just, at first when I was like, wait, what's he doing? Because they said, what he had to do, but I didn't really think, it didn't dawn on me what he was doing. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, he's getting up, gathering up speed for that electric charge.
Yep.
But that I liked it was a lot longer, a lot more, of them fighting to get into to the cube, or to the three cubes before
Yeah.
they unified. And then the fight scene within, finally, I mean, there was that scene we had seen, in the original trailer of the 2017 version, where you saw Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Aquaman, ready to charge, and that never happened. And now we get to see, those three just head on against Steppenwolf,
Yep.
and they never let on. I mean, they just, they try to keep them at bay to give Cyborg, enough time. And I like, I mean, they were just, it was like toe to toe. And Deanna was on a different plane. She had enough of him, just, you will let your sisters, or your sister's blood is still fresh. And I even goes as far as I killed your mother, or, or mentioned something about her mother dying, which of course she was lying, but
Yep.
uh, that whole ending scene was, the fight was awesome. I mean, even Batman got in some good licks, but excuse me. Um,
Yeah. No.
no, I think it all, kicked into high gear when we finally see Soup step in. That's
Yeah.
that's a little part we skipped over, but now we can talk about Superman. Excuse me. I love the whole reintroduction of Superman. The whole bringing him back from the dead, and the whole scenes we saw within the first movie were there, but more elaborate. We got to see a vision, or Cyborg saw a vision of the nightmare scene of how Deanna was dead, and we see Darkseid kill Aquaman, right? And we see him
Mm-hmm.
with
With the Omega beams.
the Omega beams. Was that Volko that he kills right there? Was it the Omega beams?
Yeah, I
Nope.
think it was.
I
Because
tried
he
and
got
I tried
Aquaman with
looking.
the trident.
Yeah. As soon as he could come and boom and killed him, I'm like, oh, was that Volko? Um, we got to see that elaborate scene. We got to see Flash, instead of going straight to give him the electricity, we got to see him, the first hint of him reversing time,
Mm-hmm.
through his power. And he was like, I shouldn't do this. This is against the rules, blah, blah, blah. And, that already tells you he's just going to let it fly, let it in the wind when Flashpoint comes along.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree with everything you said. I mean, Superman. But I'll start with him first. I do like the fact that throughout the whole movie, there is no. In the first movie, I'll talk about how they first were like. There was a big argument about whether they're going to bring him back or not. There was a lot of infighting all the time. And this one, they're like, or also in the first one, they brought him back because it was like, oh, Batman and Wonder Woman, we're not good enough to lead the team. We need a true leader. They only brought him back this time because they could not beat him. Throughout the Flash or Wonder Woman said when they very first encountered him, I've only seen one person stronger than that. You know
Yeah.
what I
And
mean? And then,
they deduced that because he died, that's why these people were here. They were afraid of Superman.
mhm.
So they were like, and a big difference from the original is half the team was against it. Like, Deanna was
Yeah.
totally against it. And here she was like, meh.
No, they
So
realized they needed to do it.
they needed to do it.
That was the only way they could save the world was to bring him back because they could not do it alone. And so
Right.
when he came back, and first of all, I liked how he came back. It was very kind of similar in the very beginning, but all those stupid jokes were gone about do you bleed and all this stuff. You know what I mean? And all that little
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. He was
All
on the ground and
it
like,
was gone.
I'm definitely
Yeah.
bleeding now or something,
Yeah, yeah.
And,
So that was, I'm glad all those stupid jokes were gone. So it was a little bit more. They had some different scenes. Cyborg had a little bit more to do when they were fighting and when he very first came back and all that stuff. But then it was cool to see him spend more time with Lois, and they had more of their dialogue. Then his mom came, and then it was when he came to, and then he went to his ship to get his suit. And he's walking down the hall and he hears both fathers speaking to him, and I think that's when he's accepting both heritages. At that point, and all of that. Then he comes in, he puts the black suit on, and then it was cool because then I'm taking us through him getting to the final battle, because then he goes and he has that conversation with Alfred, which, by the way, we forgot to say him as a secondary character was
oh,
also way more beefed up. You know what
they
I mean?
used a
He
lot
had way
more.
more dialogue with a lot more of the characters. Wonder Woman, all of his dialogue with Wonder Woman was awesome, and with all of the heroes, actually, he got way more time with them, and he also gets more time with Superman when he comes back, and that's Superman tells him exactly where they need to go, where
Right.
he needs to go.
Right.
And he joins the battle. But the battle I thought was really cool. It was way better than the last one. you covered a lot of the points that I would say, but one thing is the group shot. That's that hero shot when they freeze and the Batmobile and them four and the other four are rushing into battle. That was awesome. I thought we were just missing Superman there, but the rest of that group shot was
Yeah, that like
rival.
little pause or slow motion shot that
Yes,
we kind of
I
saw
loved it.
something in the Avengers Ultron. They did they
Yep,
did that where they kind of froze, and then that was an
yep.
awesome
And
shot.
yeah, it was, dude. I loved it. I loved it. Um, so that was really cool to get all that. And then I thought the fight with Steppenwolf. In the last movie, I think it was really just Diana more along the lines that was fighting him. This time we got more of the team fighting him.
Right.
And then when Superman shows up and he's just like
No
not
holds
impressed.
barred. Yeah,
Yeah,
Steppenwolf
yeah.
never had he
I
never
mean,
got a
it's
shot in.
on. Nah, dude, it was on. I mean, that dude was just bow, bow. I mean, beating him down. You know what I mean? And then sliced off his horn
His
with the
horn.
heat vision. I mean, it was rough, dude. It was rough. But it was such a great scene, though. I
I mean,
loved every
we
minute of it.
see, you see when he's like finally defeated, and then you just out of the blue stab through the chest of the trident of Aquaman. Aquaman
Mm-hmm.
was pissed, and I was like, when I saw him, I was like, whoa, they're gonna kill him. And not only did they kill him, we see Deanna do this flip, just slice his head off.
Dude, like you said, man, the
What?
punch, no, the pitchfork or the trident, the punch, and then the slice. And the awesome thing is, Darkseid's watching every moment of all of that. You know what I mean? They're sending him back to the apocalypse, man,
Yeah,
beheaded body.
and he doesn't even
It, it,
flinch. He just steps on Steppenwolf's head and just crushes it, to a
yeah,
point. And you're like, wow, that
yep,
was a
and
solid ending.
yeah, it was, and it just leaves you wanting more because it's like he's seeing this team, and he's like he realizes, oh, these guys are powerful. Well, you know what? Mount up, guys. We're rolling to Earth. He was like, get the Armada together. We're
Yeah,
gonna do this the old-fashioned
get there
way.
the old way, fashion way, whatever. But yeah, I would have loved to see, a part 2, part 3, if them elaborating on the fall of Superman,
Mm-hmm.
the whole nightmare version of it, which began in Batman versus Superman when we saw that whole nightmare dream sequence,
Mm-hmm.
and Flash coming to Bruce from the future, telling him that she was always the key, or it was always her, referring to Lois Lane. And then we finally see this nightmare scene where he's laying, sitting there holding a charred corpse, which we assume we know that it's Lois with
Mm-hmm.
Darkseid over him. We see bits and pieces of this nightmare coming to fruition, and it would have been exciting to just continue that into the next 2-3 movies.
Would have been, man. It totally would have been. Would have been fantastic. So, we talked about the climactic battle, and we talked about what we wish there could be, but let's talk about that freaking epilogue, dude.
Epilogue.
I mean, that was, dude. I'll tell you what. No secret was revealed. A couple months ago, the Joker was in the movie. Man, that dialogue with Batman and Joker.
That was
So,
classic.
I've always thought that, there'd never be a better scene with Batman and Joker than there was in Heath Ledger and Batman, or Heath Ledger and Christian Bale in the interrogation
Oh
room,
yeah.
and that was great. But these were two people meeting each other for the first time. You know what I mean? In that movie. This
Yeah.
one, they have this history behind them. You know what I mean? And they're just talking about, just so much hate and anger.
They were goading each other,
Oh yeah.
I mean, with
He's talking
him
about killing the
telling,
boy Wonder.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's how he knows about, his mother and father dying, and how do you send a boy Wonder to do a man's job, and then you see Batman retort with, when Harley Quinn was dying in my arms, she told me to, on her
Yeah.
dying breath, to kill you. And and then to just hear Batman drop that F-bomb, I was like, yes.
Yeah, make no mistake, I will
Make no mistake.
effing
I
kill you.
loved it. And
Yeah,
then
it
and
was
the
so
Joker was
cool.
like, oh, you almost got me there. Like, he looked serious.
Yeah, that was so cool, man. And so Jared Leto definitely, I mean, redeemed himself as far as Jokers go. It's great. If this would be the last, it is great also that a lot of people, if this is indeed the last time that we get to see them play these roles, then I'm so happy that this is the last time as opposed to, Joker in the Suicide Squad or Jared Leto in the Suicide Squad or Cyborg in the first Justice League. We'll probably never see Ray Fisher again play him, considering everything that's going on with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
no,
on
and
top
then we
of
got
that, Deathstroke too. I mean,
yeah, Joe Manganiello, man.
they were supposed to build off that whole back scene of like where Lex Luthor told Deathstroke it's Bruce Wayne. That was never in the original. The
Yeah,
first movie. We just saw, shouldn't we start a league of our own, referring to the Injustice Society. But
mm-hmm.
here he was like, his name's Bruce Wayne, which was supposed to lead to the Ben Affleck solo movie. But we're never going to see that either.
And well, there are, unless Zack Snyder's behind it, but they could. What would be great is if they continue some of these stories and like on HBO Max, like give us this Batman miniseries. I think
Yeah, I would love to see that, but I mean, they're gonna fork up some cash, jack up the price on HBO Max, $20 a person.
It's already one of the most expensive streaming systems or services out there already,
Hey, it's
with
worth it.
$15 a month.
Yes, I mean, at least this year so far, with all the movies they're releasing because of the pandemic, it's worth the price. Now,
That's true. Oh, don't get me wrong.
how is this going to go with the future? I mean, with future shows. I mean, they've got a lot of DC adapted shows that we're supposed to be getting here soon. Well, not soon, but
Yep.
in the pipeline.
Yeah.
But yeah, a
Well,
continuation of somehow this Batman would be awesome.
no, but no, yeah, like you said, yeah, it was great to see Deathstroke. In the future, I guess, in the futuristic scenes, obviously Superman's gone bad, and it looks like you've got the ragtag group of villains, heroes, and villains. Mara included,
Yeah,
Cyborg in
is
the
all.
Flash.
Yeah,
They round
we
it
get
all out.
Flash in his armor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, it was just I loved every minute of Justice League, guys. I really did. I had it on in the background a couple times as I've been doing
Yeah,
things.
I've seen it
Or I've gone.
once full, and then half. I've seen it 1.5 times. So
Yeah.
that's 6 hours.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, I've gone to different scenes and watched again. It was just I'm just so happy it's finally out, man. It's great that Zack Snyder got to put the true version, his true vision out there. And I don't know what this says about movies. A lot of directors are probably like, oh man, I wonder if this means I get to have my director's cut out there, after
Well,
the studio chopped it all up.
people are wanting to do the air cut of the Suicide Squad, which supposedly had tons of footage of Jared Leto Joker cut.
Yeah.
We did get a director's cut, but they didn't, they didn't put a lot more Joker into it. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
scenes that
Was there even any more Joker put in the director's cut? Was there any more?
I don't recall, but
Yeah, I don't
I
think there
want to say
was
there was a.
really.
I want to say that this Ayers cut was a version of where the Joker was the bad guy, not what's her face,
Right.
Enchantress. So
Enchantress, yeah.
there's that. I mean, if Warner Brothers really listens to the new hashtag, release the Ayer cut, or restore the Snyderverse, we're in for something nice. But until then, it's maybe another 4 damn years before we see anything regarding Snyderverse.
Well, if nothing else, this has definitely untainted the Justice League name. You know what I mean? Because it had a lot of baggage around it, and now the last movie with the Justice League name is going to be looked at as. I mean, it's at 90-some% on IMDb with the audience score. 70. I think these are Zach's best reviews he's ever had. Rotten Tomatoes is at 75%. He's had a lot of crowd pleasing films, but the critics have never
Oh
loved
yeah.
his movies. And so this is, it's the best reviews of his career. So what a way to go out.
Yes, yeah, I agree. This was truly made for the fans. This version. I mean, on top of like that last credit scene we see for Autumn, his
Mhm.
daughter dedicated to, this was a truly a labor of love, a thank you to, the years of just people bitching about release the Snyder cut. I mean, from the fans to the actual actors, Momoa and Fisher, everyone saying, yeah, there's a Snyder cut, release it. And then we
Yep.
finally, a year ago, we get a tease that it's going to be done, and then here it is, a whole year later. Everyone
We are.
spent 4 hours of their life crashing the HBO Max servers to watch this damn movie. And it paid off, because I mean, I've read a bunch of haters, and haters will be
Yeah.
haters no matter where, but for the most part, people love it.
Oh yeah.
They've already forgotten the 2017 version.
For sure, man. For sure.
But
Well, my friend, I think we've said it all. I think we've said it all. Did we leave anything out?
no, I mean, we could have gone over a bunch of Easter eggs, but you know what? That's for you to go and see again. I'll give you one.
I'll say, give us a
There was
teaser.
a when they showed Superman floating over the Hall of Justice in rubble. Did you see there was a dead Green Lantern there? That was
Kilowog, my
It
friend.
was Kilowog. Kilowog was
Yes,
there, and he was
indeed.
dead. What?
I know that was. I can't believe I actually forgot to bring that up. That was a cool little throw in there. You know what I mean?
That was
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, how sad though. I mean, there was technically another Green Lantern, but and one of Hal Jordan's strong right hand enforcers, Kilowog, just dead there.
Mhm.
There was a little scene where Lois was grabbing her badge, and you see the pregnancy test there.
Oh
It
yeah.
was already confirmed that she was pregnant in this movie, and supposedly that was going to be written into the next two movies, to where Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, was going to die, and by the third movie, Lois and Clark's kid was going to be the next Batman. That was written and supposedly released by Zack Snyder, as confirmed. There's just a bunch of other little Easter eggs, that you all need to go see. I mean, there's probably too many, and it's more than I've missed. But that's just a reason to go watch it again, dude. Go watch it again. Get those ratings up.
Hey man, we'll be watching this over and over and over again. At least I know I will in this house. So.
I know. As long as I have HBO Max, I'll be. And in fact, they've already released the box cover art of the
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray movies and the 4K.
That'll be great.
Yeah, so
I'll be scooping that up too.
yeah, I'll be ditching my 2017 Blu-ray, or I can just use it as a coaster or something.
Exactly. There'll be a lot of those laid around here now, my friend.
How funny.
For sure.
No, that's it, man. I mean, I loved it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. There's a lot more we can talk about. I mean, I'm sure we left a lot of things out, but I mean, that's just more for you to go and watch it again and see for yourself. So
exactly, guys, please do. If you haven't yet, if you're thinking about, oh man, I really hold that 2017 Justice League near and dear to my heart, just guys, trust us, go check it out. Yeah, go check Justice League out. Zack Snyder's Justice League is phenomenal, and I think we both give it a thumbs up. 100%.
100%.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us. Tune in next week as we talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yes, with Captain Falcon and the Winter.
Winter Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Captain Soldier and the Winter Falcon.
We'll talk about the first two episodes, I believe.
definitely. Looking
And
forward
that
to it,
was
man.
actually that was a pretty cool geek weekend because we had Justice League, and then the release of the new Falcon Winter Soldier series right after. I mean, there was tons of geekasms going on that weekend.
Oh, there was indeed, man. 5 hours of quality television to watch. Sure. Yep. Well, guys, listen, thanks again, guys. We really enjoyed it. Please let us know what you thought about the movie yourself. Comment, like, tell us what you think about the show. Check us out on YouTube or wherever you like to listen to your favorite podcasts. All
Yeah,
right.
man.
Thanks for joining us. Have LT. Thank you, my friend. And
Appreciate.
bid you guys adieu.
Later.